Without a word, he would leave me, retiring whence he came or into the other portion of the shop, and I would continue to rest in the wooden chair, inhaling the incense of his trade. Soon he would come back, holding in his hand a piece of gold brown leather. With eyes fixed on it, he would remark, "What a beautiful piece." When I too had admired it, he would speak again, "When do you want them?" And I would answer, "Oh, as soon as you conveniently can." And he would say, "Tomorrow fortnight." Or if he were his elder brother, "I will ask my brother." Then I would murmur, "Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Gessler." "Good morning," he would reply, still looking at the leather in his hand. And as I moved to the door, I would hear the tip tap of his slippers going up the stairs to his dream of boots. Dear children, one day the narrator goes to their shop to get a pair of Russian leather shoes. Mr. Gessler retreats upstairs and comes back after some time holding a fine golden Russian leather piece. After the narrator's approval, he says he will get his shoes tomorrow fortnight. Tomorrow fortnight means 2 weeks from tomorrow. Dear children, as the narrator moved to the door, he would hear the tip tap of his slippers. His slippers here means the slippers of Gessler going up the stairs to his dream of boot. He was dedicated that much in his work. I cannot forget that day on which I had occasion to say to him, "Mr. Gessler, that last pair of boots creaked, you know." He looked at me for a time without replying, as if expecting me to withdraw or qualify the statement, then said, "That shouldn't have creaked." "It did, I am afraid." "You got them before they found themselves." "I don't think so." At that, he lowered his eyes as if hunting for memory of those boots, and I felt sorry I had mentioned this grave thing. "Send them back," he said. "I will look at them. Some boots," he continued slowly, "are bad from birth. If I can do nothing with them, I take them off your bill." One day, the narrator goes to his boot shop and tells him that the last shoes he got from him creak. After a long pause, Mr. Gessler asks him to bring the shoes to him. He assures that if he can't repair them, he will give the money back. Once I went absent-mindedly into his shop in a pair of boots bought in an emergency at some large firm. He took my order without showing me any leather, and I could feel his eyes penetrating the inferior covering of my foot. At last he said, "Those are not my boots." The tone was not one of anger, nor of sorrow, not even of contempt. But there was in it something quiet that froze the blood. He put his hand down and pressed a finger on the place where the left foot was not quite comfortable. "It hurts you there," he said. "Those big firms have no self respect." And then, as if something had given away with him, he spoke long and bitterly. It was the only time I ever heard him discuss the conditions and hardships of his trade. "They get it all," he said. "They get it by advertisement, not by work. They take it away from us who love our boots. It comes to this presently. I have no work. Every year it gets less. You will see." And looking at his lined face, I saw things I had never noticed before. Bitter things and bitter struggle, and what a lot of grey hairs there seemed suddenly in his red beard. As best I could, I explained the circumstances of those ill-omened boots, but his face and voice made so deep an impression that during the next few minutes I ordered many pairs. They lasted longer than ever, and I was not able to go to him for nearly 2 years. Dear children, another day he goes to Gessler Brothers' shop to order a new pair, wearing a pair of shoes which he brought from a big firm due to some emergency. Mr. Gessler at once recognized that the shoes are not made by him. He touches a particular spot on the narrator's shoes where it is not comfortable for the narrator and says it hurts there. He expresses his contempt that those large firms attract customers through shiny, impressive advertisement to sell their inferior quality product. Then the author explains to him under what circumstances he had to buy those shoes. And after that, the narrator ordered many pairs of shoes.